explaining the differences between a sociopath and a psychopath. So Wayne Perry from Live Science, he actually talks about how about 1% of the total world population is considered to be a psychopath, and about 4% is considered to be a sociopath or have sociopathic tendencies. And this may not seem like a very big number, but when you compare it to the overall world population, that's huge. Anyone that you know can be a sociopath or a psychopath. Your family, your neighbors, your friends, anyone. And having a mother who's actually a social worker and works with at-risk teens and adults, I have seen this every day in my life, so I specifically know how much people can be a psychopath or a sociopath. So sociopaths actually suffer from antisocial personality disorder, as we can see here, and the DSM-4, this is actually kind of an older version, so it's been updated this year, but this specifically says, there is a persuasive pattern of disregard and violation of the rights of others occurring since age 15 years as indicated by 3 or more of the following. Failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors as indicated by repeatedly performing acts that are grounds for arrest. So that basically explains antisocial personality disorder, and what makes them specifically a sociopath is this sort of, like, not disregard, but they just don't really feel the normal emotions that we feel. And a psychopath is just simply a chronic disorder with abnormal or violent behavior. So it's very similar, but they tend to go more into violence than sociopaths. So right here, I have a whole list of sociopaths provided by Samantha Gluck from Psychology Today. And you can see here, superficial charm in a sociopath. So any situation that you're going to be in, they're going to you're going to gravitate towards them. They're going to immediately catch your attention, and you're going to like them immediately. They're normally very intelligent. Anything they do, they just know it immediately. They get it. Absence of nervousness. Like, personally, I know standing here right now, because I was very nervous before I started recording this, I'm not a sociopath. But if someone were to just not feel that nervousness, even if that's just one thing, that would mean that they may have certain sociopathic tendencies. But having sociopathic tendencies does not mean that you're specifically a sociopath. It just means that you have certain aspects that people can have. You're unreliable. Like, if you make plans with a sociopath, you need to expect them to cancel right before it happens. They will not be there. Lack of remorse. So if they hurt someone, they are not really going to care about it. Like, they're just going to move on and go about their day because they just don't feel remorse. They don't learn from their experiences, and they have a very large ego. So they kind of cross that line from confidence to arrogance very quickly. And then they cannot follow a life plan. If you sit down and you make goals with them for, say, a month, those goals are going to change every single time one of them is supposed to come up, and almost none of them will actually get done. Risk-taking. They drive fast. They do things that normally people would not do. Like, if they think that it's going to maybe, like, cause any issues, they just keep going. And they don't care because, they're a risk taker. They don't feel that emotion of nervousness. But psychopaths, on the other hand, although they do have most of these traits, they're actually very aggressive towards people and animals. They start at a very young age, hurting animals, hurting people. They have violent outbursts, which also goes along with the aggression towards people and animals. And they isolate themselves. If you're in a social situation with them, they will not stick around. They're going to run and kind of hide away from the people that they're around. Lack of empathy, that also goes in with a sociopath, and that's kind of one of the reasons that they get confused. And then destruction of property and theft are other traits that, they're the main traits for a psychopath. And some of the similarities, they both just disregard laws completely. Like, they do not care. They just go about their business. And if they're going to break the law, if they drink and drive, they do not care. Outbursts of random behavior. For psychopaths, this tends to be more violent behavior, but for sociopaths, it's just kind of like random things that they'll do throughout their day. And then they both lie a lot about basically everything that they do. And like I said, all of these things were provided by Samantha Gluck, and she's actually certified and everything. She knows all about this stuff. One of the biggest things that people describe sociopaths as is like they just don't feel emotion, but they tend to pick up on how people show their emotions. So like if they're at a funeral, say, and everyone is crying, they're not going to feel that emotion, but they're going to start crying just to kind of fit in, you know? And then sociopaths, they insert themselves directly into social situations because they have that kind of charm, while psychopaths just draw away and they go and they be with themselves. And that is all I have. Do you guys have any questions? No?
No
Okay,
questions.
thank you.